Hello there, everyone. Welcome to the We Don't Care About Kissin' podcast, where we talk all about how much we don't care about kissing in Hollywood films. I'm here with the number one authority on the subject, Mr. Brian McCullough. Take it away, Brian. This is your show.
I don't care. Now, hey, this is Brian. And hey, guys, I'm actually a former summer camp director, believe it or not.
Whoa.
So this movie hits close to home.
This is your movie.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And this is Gris. Let's do this.
All right, yeah. Well, no, this is Critical Mess, episode number 36. It's the podcast where three strapping young lads in the ad business talk about movies the critics and audiences don't agree on. I'm Nick Honeywell. These guys already introduced themselves. Ben is here, and we're going to do an icebreaker. So here it comes, guys. What's a movie you refuse to watch?
I refuse to watch God's Not Dead because, gosh, we're already getting canceled. Let me see how I can delicately put that. I hate movies that have a built-in guaranteed audience that are going to not only pay money to see the movie, but what do you call opposite of review bomb? It just flies in the face of what craft and art and movie making is. And if you're not familiar, God's Not Dead it's a Christian movie, and I don't know a lot about it, but what I do know about it is it's just disgusting. It's just propaganda. It's propaganda. It's for a very and it made a shit ton of money. $2 million budget, $68 million box office. Jesus. Spawned sequels.
Who saw that?
Every Christian.
Holy shit.
Because when it came out, I was part of a mega church, and every single person was talking about this movie, and I was like, I can't do this.
As a man of movies,
yeah,
I can't do this.
I can't watch schlock. It's got to actually be made to be a good movie and not just to... So.
I mean, especially if you're exploiting religion to make tons of money. I mean, that is just not a great thing.
I'm fundamentally opposed on many levels, so I will not watch that movie.
Gris.
Yeah, you guys are going to hate me for this, but it's a movie that's eluded me for many, many, many years. 2001, A Space Odyssey. I've never seen it. I've started it probably 15 times, and I've gotten maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in, and I just can't do it.
I don't hate you at all for that.
Yeah, I don't either.
God. All right.
I've seen the movie, and when I was done with it, I remember just going like, I'm sure that was great.
Yeah, I'm
perplexed.
Thank God there's a consensus here, because I have been shit on for many years of not seeing that film. And then it's just like Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver.
Finally seeing that and being like super underwhelmed by it. And it's just those two films that people just could not stop talking about. I can't get through.
Honestly, I think I would quote unquote hate you more if you just didn't even try. But the fact that you
I've tried
open mind and
many times.
That's all you can ask.
Yeah, I think the most I've gotten through is like 15, 20 minutes tops. So,
well, Brian, however you put that is exactly how I feel about that movie too.
Yeah,
like that was good. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Right, everybody. I mean, it was definitely ahead of its time, and there's a lot.
Yeah,
of
and I did a lot of very innovative.
But as a complete work, I just had conflicted thoughts afterwards.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going with Die Hard 4. Live Free or Die Hard.
I almost said one of the Die Hards after 3
with Justin Long. Just awful.
Hey, by the way, I've seen
awful.
it. You haven't seen it, right?
That's the whole point of the.
Yeah,
okay.
that's the whole point of it.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, but Gris,
I know.
You
I
had seen
teased a bit of it.
Well, okay, that's
So I have seen it. It's worse than you think.
Oh, that's not possible. It's well. First of all, the most offensive thing about it, by far and away for me, is the fact that it is PG-13. You do not make a fucking Die Hard movie PG-13. What are you thinking?
Money.
Cash
grab.
And you know what? I have a soft spot for Timothy Oliphant, but fuck me, that was bad.
I can't believe it was PG-13.
It was PG-13.
Yeah.
I had a plan, and I just sadly didn't do this, but it would have been so good if I did. I was going to picket the movie with signs that said enchanting Die Hard rated R, just and trying to persuade people on opening night not to buy tickets to this.
I respect that.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
I mean, Die Hard is... It's known for its R-ness. I mean, Die Hard is an R-rated franchise.
Yes, we're dropping F-bombs. People are getting shot.
Cocaine.
People are getting thrown off buildings.
Yeah.
Yes,
nudity.
We're doing drugs. Yeah, all of these things.
Yeah, what do you guys think about that? When if there's a series of films, a franchise, whatever, do you think if it starts with R, it starts with PG-13 or whatever, should it continue on or get more rated? To the audience that you're growing with?
My answer is I think it should absolutely stick with whatever MPAA rating it started with.
Okay.
Just because...
What if it went PG-13 or PG to PG-13 to R to go with the audience age range?
I would respect that more than the opposite, but there would need to be there'd need to be a really solid reason for it.
Yeah.
And one reason I could say is if it's here's a great example of where I could accept that. Harry Potter
I was about
and the
to say
Chamber
Harry
of
Potter.
Secrets,
Yeah.
or the first one, make it PG, the second one PG,
Yes.
maybe the third one PG-13, maybe by the time you get to 7, maybe it's R.
I thought they were
Because
pretty
you've got the
dark fucking
audiences
movies.
growing with the
Yeah.
movies. That's an exception.
Okay,
so
good. I'm glad you brought that up
I like
because I
that.
think that might be the greatest example of how it legitimately got darker with their age group as they got
Intentionally.
older,
Yeah,
and,
as they got older,
on
yeah.
purpose. It was
Well, and I
awesome.
think that's kind of in that situation, it would have been planned from the get go. It's not like just like hey, let's make another sequel and another sequel.
No, 'cause they had-
It's like this is a series. You
yeah,
know? So,
and it
yeah.
obviously book series usually go with their audiences as well, so that makes sense.
So it's kind of an interesting question. The movies or franchises that have changed ratings. You know, I just looked really quick. A few examples: Die Hard, obviously. Terminator, another one. The Expendables series has done it.
What did the Expendables do? Go from R to PG-13?
I think they went R to PG-13 and then back to R. I think maybe
That's a
I
course
think.
correction.
Highlander movies.
Oh.
Remember those?
Not seen those.
And then the
starting to dig deep here.
and the Riddick movies.
Oh,
did
okay.
Did the jump? I think. What was the first one? Pitch
Because
Black.
Pitch Black.
Pitch Black.
I believe that
yeah.
was R, right?
I
Or was
think
that one?
so.
Yeah,
I don't
think
know.
That was yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen that. Actually, a pretty good movie, as I recall.
I've heard good things. I've not seen
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah.
pretty solid.
yeah.
Thank
I-
Vin Diesel for that.
That's a
trying to
cool
get it
question.
made.
That's a cool question.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna spoil the movie we're talking about here tonight. We're talking about a film from the year of our Lord 2001. It's a comedy. It's allegedly a comedy. No, it's funny. It's funny. It's called Wet Hot American Summer.
This summer, take a trip back to 1981 with the special people who made summer camp unforgettable.
You guys aren't supposed to be out of your bunks. You're in trouble.
The camp director,
4 campers are stuck in the ropes course. I meant to tell you about that yesterday. Could you get to it now?
the counselors,
Wait for me, Abby Bernstein. Wait for me, my darling.
Wait. I just want to take off my shirt.
the kitchen staff,
Finish up the taters. I'm gonna go fondle my sweaters.
Come on, what? You said you were gonna go fondle your sweaters.
No, I didn't.
and the friendships that last a lifetime.
We want you to be the guest of honor at our wedding next week.
From USA Films and creators of TV's The State,
A renegade piece of Skylab's heading right for the camp.
Oh my God.
It could kill us all.
Janeane Garofalo, David Hyde Pierce, Paul Rudd, Christopher Maloney, and Molly Shannon.
Andy, have you seen my swimming buddy?
I was busy.
It's your job to make sure kids don't drown. Where are we going?
To a big secret pizza party?
Wet, hot American summer.
So let's talk about the numbers. Some interesting numbers on this one, guys. So this movie cost $1.8 million to make, and it grossed $300,000.
Okay. I was going to say, what?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
DVD sales have really skyrocketed this bad boy in the 2000s.
Yeah, I had to double check that figure too, but I did go to a couple of different sites.
Was it
and,
made in 1934?
No, it was not. And obviously this movie, didn't get it done at the box office, but made money in other ways, as Gris alluded to. And obviously, this is one of those movies I think people keep coming back to because there is just an insane amount of people in this movie that became more famous, right? Mm-hmm. So it's got that going for it. So this movie was directed by David Wayne, who was actually a really young dude when he made this. He was like 30. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's done a lot of TV.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he hasn't done a whole lot of movies.
I don't think he's done any movies that are even more well known than this one.
Role Models was
Role Models.
kinda-
Okay,
Models.
you're right.
Yep,
You're right.
yep,
That's
yep.
the exception. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably his
I love
most
Role
well-known
Models.
movie.
Yeah, the other one he did that is notable is Wanderlust. I don't know if you guys saw
I
that.
don't even know
but,
what that is.
yeah, those were the only two I'd really heard of. But yeah, like you said, Brian, he's an actor as well. He's mostly in comedic stuff, a lot of bit parts. Works on some TV shows. He's been on like Reno 911 and Party Down, stuff like that.
Love Reno 911.
Yeah, I love Party Down actually. I think that's a pretty funny show.
Party
if you
Down.
ever-
I've seen
if you ever
that.
watch
Well,
it.
it also stars him.
Yeah, Ken Marino.
Yep.
Ken Marino, I
Yeah.
think, is underrated. We might get into that a little bit. He also David Wayne. He wrote this movie along with Coop, Michael Showalter in this. So yeah, he's also a writer. So who is in this movie? Really, who is not in this movie? Right? Holy shit! There's a lot of famous people. Here we go. We got Janeane Garofalo, David Hyde Pierce, Paul Rudd, Molly Shannon, Bradley Cooper, Ken Marino, Christopher Maloney, Michael Showalter, Michael Ian Black, Amy Poehler, Elizabeth Banks, H. Jon Benjamin. I mean, geez.
Wow. It's insane.
That is just stacked. So many comedic actors in this movie.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that the budget was $1.8 million. Like if you made a movie now with all of those actors,
oh my gosh,
it'd be like $180 million just to pay the cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that also includes, I mean, I would say too, like a couple of like pretty much stone cold A-listers, I would say. I mean, Bradley Cooper for sure. I mean, probably Paul Rudd is probably an A-lister.
Paul Rudd for sure.
He's
Yeah.
an A-lister.
Paul Rudd's
I
up
mean,
there.
Elizabeth Banks maybe. She's,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd put her
she's
up
kind of
there.
a director and she's a pretty big deal now. So yeah. Okay. Quick refresher about the criteria for the movies we talk about. So the movie's got to be fresh with audiences and rotten with critics, or vice versa on Rotten Tomatoes. And the disparity's got to be about 20% or so, at least. So on Rotten Tomatoes, Wet Hot American Summer is at 38% with critics and 75% with audiences.
Yikes.
So we got a big gapper here. It's about 40%. So
That's a big gap.
yeah, so let's get into this.
Bigger than some of our recent ones. We've had a lot of like 50-something, 70-something. So now we're going to get a little bit more polarized.
A little more polarized. Yes, indeed. So let's get into it. First exposure to the film, gentlemen, and how many times have we seen it over the years?
If you had to count up the times I've seen this movie on reruns on Comedy Central growing up over and over and over again, just in bits and pieces, I can't believe I remembered as much as I saw in this. Like just growing up, seeing as many scenes as I've seen and remembered them all. So, I mean, it's countless. I mean, just because
Gris,
of Comedy
you've seen
Central.
this a lot.
A lot.
You're very familiar
I
with
just
the
like
movie.
vividly remember a lot of these scenes. And then like I think there were like 6 or 7 scenes where I was like, oh, I don't remember that. And that's, it's funny that I just don't remember a lot of that. Or I remember a shit ton of this movie, but I just don't remember watching it in full ever.
I don't know what happened to me. I didn't even know that this was a thing. I've never even heard of this movie.
You never heard of it?
Very recently. No, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Really?
Wow.
Because it's uncharacteristic for me to not have heard of a movie. Right?
Ironically, because they came back, I think 10 years later and made a sequel.
I
And
think
then another
that's the
20
first,
years later
that's
and made
the
a
first
show
time I had
or
ever
something.
heard of it
50.
was
Yeah.
when they came back and did the show or the movie or whatever. And it's like, I was like, oh, what's that? What's Wet Hot American Summer? So to me, I always assumed that Wet Hot American Summer was like this original like comedy movie, which as we're going to get into, it's not. I had the whole wrong impression about this ever since the first time I heard it. And so I watched it for the first time 2 months ago, and then I watched it again this past weekend. So very unfamiliar with this movie.
Wow, and that is surprising.
I know. I don't know what happened.
I honestly don't know when I first saw this movie. It was in my 20s, probably sometime. I definitely didn't see it right when it came out, but a little bit, after that, probably sometime in the aughts. And I remember, thinking this movie was funny. And Gris, much like you, I remember seeing this on TV a lot. Like I remember, was it on Comedy Central?
It was like TNT or Comedy Central or something. It had to be Comedy Central, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was just on a lot, and so I would definitely see bits and pieces of it a lot. But I would say I have sat down and watched this movie in its entirety probably 2 times, and then again last night. So
cool. So I suppose I'll probably be coming in with the least nostalgia tinted glasses on this movie.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I remember seeing these scenes, but like then you think about like not the hard R scenes, but like there were some really raunchy scenes in this. You're like, oh shit. I was like, that definitely wasn't on TV. And I was like, are these like ultra cuts or these like extra things that I just didn't see? But this is definitely the first time I've watched the full R-rated film in its entirety. So
this is Critical Mess. I'm Nick. I'm here with Brian. I'm here with Gris. I'm here with Ben. And we're talking about Wet Hot American Summer. And we are sponsored by a wet hot brand called Old Elk. And it's ambrosial. It's peerless. I think Brian said it was meek. We're working on that one.
I take it all back.
We're tooling it.
I take it all back.
Or retooling. Do you have a new one? A new word for us?
No, I should have come up with a new word for it. Buttery. I'm sticking with buttery.
I like buttery. Buttery. Yeah, buttery's good. I don't know. I don't have any new copy for this because they haven't sent us a bottle yet.
Yeah. I mean, I think it just goes to show. I mean, we're still drinking this.
I mean, we
whiskey.
are.
I
guess that's all you have to say.
I'm going to continue writing them letters each week. So
yeah, good.
don't
Thank
you guys
Gris.
worry.
I appreciate
I can't wait till we're on YouTube and we can finally just like prove like this is what we drink
know.
live on air.
I know. I feel like we're we're sustaining their brand.
Yeah.
I mean, we buy like half of the Old Elk in Indianapolis.
Indiana.
I mean, I've got to go to Meijer to get it. Like,
Gross.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
It's
we-
yucky, and
Yeah,
I still
we want
do it.
to see it on store shelves everywhere. But anyways, that's our crusade. We're also sponsored, keeping us hydrated tonight, Pacifico Clara. Important distinction, in a can.
In a can.
You don't see it in a can all that often. It's usually in the bottle, but
It pairs well with the Old Elk.
Yeah.
I got to say.
and we're also, I guess, sort of sponsored. What was that shit you brought, Ben? Ugh.
Jepson's
jeez.
Malort.
We can't. No, don't even sponsor.
We did a shot. We did a shot
we're
of
not
Jepson's
sponsored by
Malort
them.
liqueur right before this.
Don't
this
even say it out
episode.
loud. Don't
Yeah.
say them out loud.
Gosh.
All our Chicago fans are cheering right now.
Yeah, we'll bleep that sponsor because we didn't enjoy that one. All right. Okay, we're gonna rate this movie. Who wants to go?
I'm going. I'm going 39. 1 over critics, guys. I couldn't go any more than that. I'm sorry.
The big 3-9.
Yeah, big 3-9.
Is that your age?
As funny as 69 would have been for this film, I could not go anywhere near that.
I know. Nick?
Sure.
Do you want me to go?
I can go.
Okay, go for it.
67.
God damn it.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will talk about it.
I guess that's what this whole thing is about.
Can I just say, for such a horned up movie like this, for you to abstain from the 69 rating, I highly value. I highly respect
you know what,
that.
Brian? Let me
I
just talk
highly
about that for
respect
one
it was
second.
either
I was
39
gonna
or
give it a
69. I'm sorry.
I was going to give it a 68, and I was like, okay, I'll have this great joke about, it's almost 69. I couldn't, some sort of 69 joke. And I was like, should I just give it a 69 but then I was like, no, that's just sophomoric.
It's almost like we wouldn't take the rating seriously.
Right.
I take a 67 seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
And so 67 is truly what I believe to be the correct rating for me for this film.
All right. Well, for me, a lot lower than that.
Lower than 39?
This movie is silly, confusing, horny, sophomoric, and misguided. I'm going to give it just barely above what I consider to be a hate rating. Anything from a 0 to a 20 means I hated the movie. My next ranking up is from a 20 to a 40. I say it's a bad movie. This is a 22.
Yeah.
So, it's at the low end.
Y'all are wrong.
The low end of the bad.
I knew this would be right up Ben's alley.
Yeah.
I almost treated this movie differently than every movie we've ever done before this because it isn't even a real movie. Yeah. It's not like we'll get into themes and arcs, maybe not, because there aren't any. Not that there aren't any, but the movie isn't taking itself seriously. So I almost had to have a whole different rating scale for the movie. This was a weird one. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and I don't hate it because I watched it and I laughed at a lot of it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of it. I laughed at maybe 10% of the scenes I laughed at. The rest of them were just confusing as fuck. But 22, man.
Ben, what do you give this?
69.
Yeah, there we go.
I needed an ally. Thank you, Ben. Glad to have you here tonight.
We are split down the middle, folks. It's Gris and Brian. Ding, 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 ding. Against Nick and Ben.
Eat shit, you bums.
Title card.
All right. Well, we have a bit of a critical mess ourselves, I'd say. All right. Well, critics, audiences don't agree. Obviously, we don't agree. Let's talk about why that is. Why is that, Brian?
Yeah, well, the critics mostly just said it's not funny. And I'll read a few here. I was double checking. This is the lowest I've ever rated a movie on our podcast after a year and a half.
Wow.
This is the lowest.
Really?
Yeah,
Dang.
it's lower. The second lowest was Anyone But You at a 28. But yeah, those are the only two movies that I've gone below a 30 in my rating. So yeah, pretty bad stuff. Sorry. Let me bring up my notes here. I think the critics' consensus says a lot. Wet Hot American Summer's incredibly talented cast is too often outmatched by a deeply silly script that misses its targets at least as often as it skewers them. Yikes. Stephen Hunter, Washington Post. This is supposed to be funny? It was so depressing, I almost started to cry. And I'm not going to ask you guys a question. I'm not going to ask the room a question after each one. I'm just going to blaze right through these 5 that I've got here because they're all the same. Tom Morstad, Dallas Morning News. This is an almost laughless bomb. Dustin Thompson, This movie strains so hard to be funny, it almost ruptures itself. I like that one.
That's a good one.
That's kind of what I love about it.
Yeah, I know exactly. Like
and I'll just say this: I think this is going to be a great case study of enjoyment versus how good of a movie this is. And so I didn't hate it. I enjoyed some of it. I think Robert K. Elder's review is probably what I think is the most apt one here. The scene we're watching right now, by the way, guys, is like 20 of my 22 points. The scene where Paul Rudd slaps the food on the floor, Janeane Garofalo comes and tells him to pick it up, and he throws the fucking best fit I've ever seen someone throw on film.
Honestly, it's just so
And then
so
you can
good.
and you
He's
can
so
see
committed.
her mark on the floor when they do the wide shot.
Nice.
Just wait for
Yeah, guys, this scene, this is 20 of my 22 points.
Amazing.
Robert K. Elder, this low-budget comedy will most likely try the patience of a paying audience with its uneven pacing, wavering tone, and poor production quality. Absolutely agree with every word in that sentence, and that kind of sums up most of my rating. And then finally, Roger Ebert. Guys, I don't know what this is in reference to. This is going to show my naivete, but so tell me. Now, I'm just going to read it, okay? This is how it's written. I want to escape. Oh, mudafada. Life's too short for cinematic torture.
Motherfucker?
No.
Motherfucker.
Mudafara.
I want to escape, and then like slash, like it's almost like a stanza. Oh, mudafada slash. Life's too short for cinematic torture.
Oh my.
You gotta be
My
shitting me.
God.
Are those Hot Pockets?
Wow.
They got a cool.
Can this be
Did
real
you guys-
life?
This is real life, ladies and gentlemen.
Explain it.
This smells so good.
Someone tell our listeners.
So I decided this movie
Guys.
was so bad that we needed something to make
my
make
God.
it. No, I'm just kidding. We didn't think that. April bought Hot Pockets for us.
The better half of us
Wow.
Yeah,
Our best listener
delicious.
brought us
Number one
cheese
listener.
pizza.
Four cheese
Let's
Hot Pockets.
do this.
Very
Amazing.
exciting. Yes.
So,
Oh yeah.
so
Producer
yes,
fit on the hot.
we have Hot Pockets as we get into our Hot Pocket segment. But
shit.
before we
I
dig
haven't-
into that,
can I just say I haven't like smelled a Hot Pocket since
I
like
haven't
the late '90s, and I feel like
I got
It's
transported.
God.
yeah.
right,
transported.
transported
Guys,
right
if
back.
Hot Pocket doesn't sponsor us after this episode, I'm gonna be pissed.
And am I not mistaken that these are not microwaved? These are cooked
oven
in the
baked
oven.
these
Oh
oven
my
baked?
God.
No.
Conventional oven. Oh,
Con-
shit.
Conventionally
Okay.
cooked.
I've
Hot
never even
Pockets.
had one of those.
I've only ever had microwave.
I've never had those. It's so delicate. That's a delicacy.
Wow,
I didn't know that you could do that.
amazing.
This is like better than when Gris gave us all free watches.
way better. Let's be serious.
Let's be real.
This is amazing.
Look at Paul.
Okay.
So yeah, so just to
What are we doing?
Put a pin in that. That was the last one. Roger Ebert. Life's too short for cinematic torture. I don't get the mudafada. If you're listening, you know, Uncle Steve, Ken Honeywell, some of our reviewers, you guys probably are laughing because you know exactly what that's referencing. I'm sorry, I'm uncultured, but whatever it is, he did not like it. He gave it a 1 out of 4. So yeah, guys, critics are saying that this falls flat, tries to be funny, isn't funny, falls flat.
Oh, I get it. Okay. I
What
think
is it,
I
Ben?
think
What
I
is it?
know. So there's a song called Hello Mutta, Hello Fada.
Okay.
And it's a camp song. It's like Hello Mutta, Hello Fada, here I am at Camp Granada. And then I think he's playing off of that.
Oh, he's so good.
because it's a camp
I mean, that's
movie.
respect there.
He's a
He's so
smart
good.
guy.
He's
Yeah.
so good.
It's pretty good. Well, guys,
I think
audiences,
that's what it is.
Audiences are rough. I don't know. They're all very good. Like it just talks about how cult classic
liked
it
it.
is and how funny it is and how stupid it is. But 5 out of 5, insanely funny, but probably not for you. Now, I think I understand why.
Like they're just telling like the general population is probably
Yeah,
not
it's
for
just
you.
not for you,
Like
but
anyone, it's
but
not
the
for you.
majority thinks it's funny. So I don't. It's just I don't know. It's tough. I don't know about you guys, but I think we should go into town 5 out of 5.
Okay,
That's a good-
That's pretty good.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
come on.
That's
And
good.
then they come back and it's like, that was a great
An
hour.
later.
An incredibly silly movie in the best way possible. 5 out of 5. I mean, yeah. This one's 3.5 out of 5. I finally gave it a try, and I'm glad I did. Even though it's like a parody, it still feels like its own summer romp film. Some of the jokes are laugh out loud. Some of the jokes and plot not happening for me. Thank God it's R. Good flick. Put it on with friends over. I mean, all right, I get it.
I respect that.
And then yeah, the last bits of the last one is 4 out of 5. What a ridiculous movie! Arts and farts and crafts.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So
Because that's what they said in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they?
yeah. Guys, I don't know. Audiences, I don't know. Is it because all of these actors are now like beloved by all of us? You know, you have, 20 actors in this movie that we all know now from various films over the last 20 years, 25 years. Is that why it's just built itself into a cult
comedy?
classic?
I think it's a comedy. Audiences typically like comedy. And I think it's easy to digest. Doesn't make you think. And it just has... It hits to that primeval part of your brain, like, oh, fun, that was funny. Somebody got hit. Somebody kid, ha ha ha. Like
that kid drowned.
That's how I'm picturing people.
They dropped the kid out of the car.
That was hilarious.
Oh, all right. Did you guys catch why that happened?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I didn't catch it the first time. On the second watch, I realized why.
He witnessed a murder.
He witnessed a murder.
And I love how they just didn't even ever go back to it or anything like
nothing.
that. That kid is dead.
He's dead. Yeah,
no, 2 kids are dead.
Yeah,
and Paul Rudd's hands.
That happens at camp, though. Summer camps, that happens.
I just, anyways.
There you go. Yeah, critics and audiences. I mean, that tracks. It makes sense, you know.
All right. So this is Critical Mess. We are sponsored by Hot Pocket. We are sponsored
We've switched.
Big time by Hot Pocket. Woo. 4 cheese pizza.
There's a beautiful, juicy, delicious plate of Hot Pockets sitting amongst us.
And you know what the best part is? Oven baked.
Oven baked.
Conventional.
Baked. How is this? What planet are we on? Anyway.
Small nips.
Do you guys not own a microwave?
Man, this is not Nip Talk, buddy.
Did you just say small nips?
Nip Talk was like
Paul Rudd,
3 episodes ago.
Ben hit the Jepsen Malort a little too hard.
We're watching the scene with Elizabeth Banks and Paul Rudd on the dock as the kid is fucking speeding on the speedboat in the lake. Did you guys know the director? I think Ben sent me this video, or maybe I read about it. But they didn't know how to get the other actor out of scene, so they just shot that piece where he just walks off and falls in the water because they needed that scene.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. I was like, what the fuck?
That was why they did it, so they could get Elizabeth Banks into the scene for the set. I knew Brian would love it.
Good job, everybody. Good job.
Good. All right. We're going to flip the script. Brian, what did you like about this movie?
I will tell you exactly what I liked about the movie. Paul fucking Rudd. Every time he came on screen, I laughed, especially the time where he knocks the food on the floor. I mean, that just sets it off. He is hilarious. He goes all in on the tongues. I mean, I don't care. I don't care about kissing, but he goes all in on this, and I respect it even more knowing that he potentially didn't get paid for this movie, and he freaking lived in a camp for 28 days. That's behind the scenes stuff. You guys might get me to edge my 22 up a little bit if you keep on going with those little nuggets.
I can't go any higher.
I'm going to say there's a couple good scenes as well. The conversation about what time they're going to meet in 10 years. I liked that scene. That gave 1 point.
1 point. Let's
talk about the scene. I love that scene. We should make it a day.
Hey, let's all promise that in 10 years from today, we'll meet again, and we'll see what kind of people we've blossomed into.
Yeah.
What time you want to meet?
You mean 10 years from now?
Yeah.
Let's meet in the morning so we can make a day of it.
Okay, so what is it? Is it like 9 or 9:30?
Well, let's say 9. That way we can be here by 9:30.
Well, no, why don't we say 9:30 and then make it your beeswax to be here at 9:30? I mean, we're all going to be in our late 20s by then. I just don't see any reason why we can't be places on time.
Okay, then. Settled. 9:30 it is. All agreed?
Agreed.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Great. Because I have something at 11.
It's where they're talking about 9, like, we should schedule it for 9 o'clock.
In the morning,
and so everybody gets there at 9:30 or whatever. It's just fun. I wish there was more of that banter in the movie. That was just like low key, it's funny, just let it lie. The baseball hype up scene, and then they just cancel the game. That's great. I love it. That gave it 1 point. And then Paul Rudd is the other 20 points. And I just and I also loved how hot and cold he was on the girls. He would just be all into them and just be like, screw you, fuck you, I don't like you, whatever it is. Like, I found that funny, and just the kissing. I mean, good gracious. I think I referenced this in a previous I don't care about kissing segment. But yeah, this goes there.
A lot of kissing.
That's my flipping the script. Those are my 22 points accounted for.
This movie had a lot of funny scenes. I think it was very funny. I mean, I got to give it to it. But like Brian said, Paul Rudd and Margaret Moreau, is that how you say her name? Those two, I think, is that how you say it? I don't know.
No, I was.
But I think that's how these two just stole the show from the beginning. Like, they did that crazy, insane kiss while the awkward kids watched them. But I think Paul Rudd just won it for me. I think that's every time he was on screen, it just like
Yeah, Gris, I agree. I watched it with April, and she noticed something that I didn't even notice about myself. About halfway through the movie, she noticed that every time Paul Rudd came on screen, I started giggling. And I didn't know I was doing it. And she like called me out on it. And then I was like very aware of it, but I couldn't help it.
He played it perfectly. Yeah. It was so good.
Nick, aren't you like not the biggest Paul Rudd guy?
This is Hot Pocket.
All right, we'll save it.
Hot Pocket.
We'll save it. Go ahead and flip it, Nick.
What did I not like about this movie? Well, it's a shitty movie, I guess.
Wow, 67 your ass.
No, that tracks, man.
It's a shitty movie that I like.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
I
I think
agree.
it's very funny. This movie made me laugh a lot, but I'm talking about what I didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell you one thing I definitely didn't like was I thought the whole Molly Shannon bit was really, really bad. Really bad. It was, I don't know if it was funny at the end when she like kind of ends up with the child, like she's in like a relationship with the child. Like it's just so strange. And
they just spent a lot of screen time on that.
Very
It was like
odd.
the whole B story.
yeah.
And I had high hopes for that because she's funny. She makes me laugh. You know?
Yeah, it was all very odd.
Dude,
I
they
mean-
really threw that kid out of that car.
All right, guys, if we're gonna be cracking up,
Yeah, see, I know you guys gave this movie like a 20
Yeah,
fucking
well, this is
something.
why
and we
it's a
can't keep
69 for
straight
me.
face
God
for 2
damn it.
seconds while we're trying to watch it.
I'm just calling out
What the
all
fuck?
of us, including myself. Like our listeners are only hearing what we're saying,
Yeah.
and so
no.
they're hearing Nick say something, and they're hearing all of us crack up. But what Nick said wasn't funny, and we weren't laughing at him. We were laughing at something on screen. So we just need to be a little bit more clear, I think.
And
maybe.
for all of our
I know.
audience, we watch the movie in the background, and we at the start of every episode we hit play. So just in case you want to watch along in future episodes,
Actually, that's a great point.
yeah,
Because we watch the movie in
Yes.
real time.
Yes,
Yeah, that would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
People can like literally watch
I have
the
mentioned
movie.
this to many people that I've talked about the podcast, and they've thought that was really funny, and they've listened to 1 or 2 episodes that way, and they think it's funny. But I don't know if a lot of people would do that. But
Anyway.
it's just like a commentary.
If you want. It's like the Dark Side of the Moon, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The wall.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
wall.
The
The
wall.
wall with
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of
Sorry,
Oz.
I don't mean to call us out, guys. I'm sorry. Let's be funny, and who cares about what I said?
What the fuck are we talking about?
Flip the
no
script.
They're about to go to the city.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying, Nick, you said something
They're about to
interesting,
go into town.
and then everybody started cracking up, and it didn't match what you said, and so I just thought
Right.
I'd have a little PSA time.
Well, thank you.
This is Brian's other corner.
I don't even remember.
You said you didn't like Molly Shannon.
Yes, I
Yeah.
didn't like Molly Shannon. What else did I not like about this movie? I didn't like that, Brian, you kind of a little bit talked about that. There's like 10 million characters and none of them were able to be developed because it was a short movie. And there just wasn't enough screen time to even do anything interesting or make anyone change. Or,
I talked about that?
I think you at least alluded to it earlier.
Right, when I was talking about character arcs.
Yeah. So that was, obviously that was played into too. So yeah, but overall, just not a good movie, not a well-made movie really, or even a particularly well-written movie. But honestly, just the fact that it made me laugh a lot, that just gets me to a positive score. Yeah. So we'll get more into it. But all right, guys. All right, Critical Mess, sponsored by Hot Pocket, sponsored by Old Elk, sponsored by Pacifico in a Can.
Old Elk sounds like this.
Ooh. That's good.
Real good. Yeah. What's a Hot Pocket sound like? Hot Pocket. Yeah. There it is. All right. Is it still a new segment?
Oh yeah.
This is a new segment. It's
This is
brand
new
new.
till-
Yeah, it's brand new. It's new till we got another one.
It's new till we fuck it up and it's not funny anymore and we just cancel it.
Well,
But that's
yeah.
not happening today.
No, not tonight. But here it comes, our new segment. It's called Marquee Mess. That's right.
I don't know.
No, that's the new sound effect for Marquee Mess.
But Marquee Mess, it's the segment where we rename the film with our own custom names. We usually do a little bit of a round robin on this.
Yeah, I like it.
So I'll get us started. Tramp Camp. Both men and women are being the tramps.
Love that.
Very clear.
Damn it! I was like, how can I rhyme something with camp? And I didn't think of tramp.
Tramp Camp.
Damn, that's good.
Well, we'll leave it to our writer.
Exactly. We don't stand a
You
chance in
dumb
this segment, Gris. We don't stand a chance.
I'm so fucked.
Do you have one? You want me to go?
I have one. No, go ahead.
Maybe he has 0. Canceled counselors.
I just had hot. That's all I got.
That's good.
It's very hot. Here's another one. Wet thought American Summer.
Play on the hot.
Again from our writer. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I've only got 3, so my second one is Cabin Fever 5, Ovulation Nation.
Kind of like Ovulation Nation. There's something there.
I had to do a lot of research on this one because I didn't know how many cabin fevers there were. Because it originally was Cabin Fever 2, Ovulation Nation, and then there's already a Cabin Fever 2, and the 3, and a 4, not a 5.
Well, there you go.
I'll tell you, I did not know there were that many cabin fevers.
That was 10 minutes I'll never get back.
Yeah. Dry, cold Soviet winter.
Wait, which movie was that? Was that our last one?
That was last week's movie. Yeah.
Way to tie them together.
All
right, my last one is The Cook Who Humped a Fridge.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, that's not bad.
You know?
I liked it.
It's pretty good. Nobody laughed, but it's good.
No, I don't need to laugh. I'm just saying.
I had to think about it for a second. There was some fridge.
I mean, respect. I had nothing because this movie just took brain cells from me. So I couldn't hold on to much thought after I watched it.
I started going way too punny, and I was like, no, I just need to, what's this movie about?
I'll tell you what it's about.
What's it about?
I got a couple more. They're not that good. Face suckers. About canoeing and canoodling.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty
Clever.
good. What about just I don't care about kissing?
Yeah, I thought about it.
Gris?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you said you had 2 more.
Finish your drinks.
I thought you
Finish
said,
your
damn
drinks.
it.
Literally my last one.
If 2 people come up with the same marquee mess, you have to finish your drinks.
but mine is slightly different.
Okay.
Literally my
It says
last
Kiss
one.
100.
Okay.
Literally my last one was Brian doesn't care about kissing.
Oh, okay.
So I added Brian to it.
Man.
All right.
Way to just...
You said you had 2 more, and I was like, I think I'm in the clear.
Same track.
All right.
Same track.
All right.
Anyway, that's been Marquee Mess.
That's good. I like it.
Marquee Mess
Way to
on
go,
Critical
everyone.
Mess. Now we go to our most hated segment.
Yeah.
Tharks. So we'll make it fast.
Thark me.
Let's go. Yeah, Thark it up, Brian.
I mean, it's a coming of age movie.
Wait, sorry. Can we, Tharks means themes and arcs.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Themes and arcs.
Okay.
Tharks.
And
I
moving
just
forward.
assume
Yeah.
everyone knows our
Let's-
silly
Tharks.
vernacular.
Let's drag out the description of
Yeah.
the
Every fucking week.
It's tongue in cheek because we sort of get back at the reviewer by shortening the segment, but now we have to anyway. Tharks. I've just explained. I've just dissected a frog and killed it. Coming of age movie. That's a theme, and then I think this might add 1 point to my rate. I haven't decided yet, but I do really like the idea of sort of no one ever really grows up, right? You have 3 layers or 3 levels of sort of, I would say culture, but like kind of social circles here. You've got campers, you've got the counselors, you've got like the director and David Hyde Pierce, you know, that whole thing. It's like 3 different maturity levels you've got going on. And I can say from being a camper for many years at a summer camp, and then being a counselor for like 10 more years there, and then being on staff above that, I can say that is so true. It is so accurate. No, everyone, all we do is get older. We don't get any smarter. We're all stupid, and we're all driven by the same things, and we just have more wisdom and more words to use, or maybe more moves. And I think that's a big theme in this movie because like they treat everybody as equally.
Can I just
dumb.
say what you said, like the last 30 seconds there? I feel like that should be like on a poster somewhere.
Wow.
That's what'd I say? I blacked out.
We'll just have to go back and listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
It was
then
about wisdom
Yeah. Okay.
or something.
I thank you.
I don't know. Thanks to our sponsor.
Thank you, Jepson. Or no.
Thank you, Hot Pocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think guys, again, this gets into the parody of this movie, which I didn't even know it was a parody until like the second time I watched it. But I just don't think it really exists to be analyzed in the way I'm even sitting here analyzing it right now. And that's okay. That's okay. What do you guys think? What do you think?
Coming of age. That's all I had. Yeah. I mean, it just
the
seems,
strongest one.
Yeah. You and I mentioned the whole satirical, it's playing off of the 80s rom-coms and like campy movies from back in the day. I mean, this movie was made in when? 2001?
2001.
So it's not that far off from the 80s. I mean, I don't think it's insane.
So
it's hard to be like, it's such a fine line to be like, all right, is 10 years far enough out to start to make a satire out of an entire generation of films?
So the four movies the four main movies, this is satire or parodying is, they're all like early 70s or late 70s to early 80s. So we're talking 20 years after the fact, right? Meatballs, Little Darlings, Sleepaway Camp, and Indian Summer. Okay, I've heard of one of those movies, but I haven't seen it. Maybe that's why this movie fell short. Because it's parodying this group of four movies. Have you guys ever heard of those movies or seen them?
I mean, Meatballs, for sure.
Just Meatballs, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Meatballs. Okay.
Yeah,
Murray's
just Meatballs.
Yeah, so I think that's maybe where they fell a little flat. So, but anyway, Gris, now that you've got a mouthful of Hot Pocket, continue.
I'm in a Hot Pocket right now.
But I wanted to bring that up, that it's a parody of those four movies, I think, and you know, some others, and I think the writer of the movie's upbringing and things like that. But I didn't know that when I watched it. Next,
I think you guys tharked the thark out of that thark.
Way to go.
I like how you verb, adjectived, and nouned it.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
It's a really great word. Is it time for the Hot Pocket?
Wait, did we go to Brian's Corner?
Oh gosh! Oh my gosh, guys! Sorry, I knew I was missing something. My brain was just like, I know
Brian
there's
looks
something
so
I'm
distraught
forgetting
right now.
And Brian,
It's funny that you say that because I
can I just say 1,000 pardons?
No. I
1,000 pardons.
I was secretly kind of happy. Because,
oh no!
wait, yeah. What's wrong with our board?
It's
It
all-
missed the first three notes.
Oh,
Brian,
no,
your corner's in
this is-
shambles. I'm
No,
sorry.
Everything is falling apart.
I think this should be Nick's Corner tonight.
No, I'm so sorry.
Hey, everybody,
Anyways,
welcome to
I'm
Brian's
just a-
Corner.
Yeah.
I want to talk about how people rate things on Rotten Tomatoes, and I want to bring to light something that Nick sent to the group. It's the Rotten Tomatoes Universal Scale. I loved this. It was all posted on Reddit. It's kind of a joke, but it's kind of serious. And it basically, I'm just going to quickly read through. There's these 6 sort of like categories for how things are rated on Rotten Tomatoes. The first one is undeniably great. So it's like the example here is like a 91% critic, 96% audience, right? The second one is 81% critic, 70% audience. Pretty great. The third one is like a 59% critic, 95% audience. And the caption is ignore critics, watch anyways. And I think we've kind of hit that with several of our previous recent ones. They've all been in that room. Maybe not 95 for audience, and they've all been enjoyable. And then you've got the opposite of that, like the high critic 75%, low audience 51%, and the caption here is artsy fartsy pretentiousness, and in parentheses probably A24. I laughed at that. And then the last two here, you've got 26% critic, 91% audience, and the caption is the Boondock Saints, which
we need to do,
which is on our list
yes.
for the future. And then the last one just is obvious: 18% critic, 27% audience, probably garbage. And I think those, for the most part, track. But why I wanted to bring this up was because
they left their socks on.
It's funny that Nick sent this, and I don't remember if he sent this before we watched this movie or after we watched it or in conjunction with this movie or whatever. But I really thought about this Reddit post when I was watching this movie. Because this has a low critic, high audience, and according to this metric, it's ignore critics, watch anyways. And I disagree with that. And I want to just kind of read. I want to just get you guys' take on a couple of the most popular Reddit comments. Nick, and you brought this to my attention, which is why this is kind of Nick's corner. But the first one here is, and this is a comment in response to the infographic I just read you guys. I find it fascinating how much critics and audience score often differs. When you are a critic, you have a vastly different perspective on the media. You've seen hundreds of movies every year, so you are no longer amazed by the ones that just follow the formula very well, while it may be something that your average Joe enjoys. Societal element plays a huge role as well, but that's a whole different topic, and I don't know if I want to delve into that. And then the comment to that was, they just don't judge the same thing. Critics judge the art, audience judge the time they spent. And lastly, another response to that. This is a great succinct way to put it. I would also say, in other words, critics are judging a film objectively. Audiences are judging on subjective enjoyment. And I have been preaching this since our very first episode.
Have you?
Yes. And that was one of the main reasons that we created this podcast.
Chris doesn't listen to the episodes, so we don't have to.
I think that was a sarcastic.
I am not a listener.
And so I don't know, guys, like, I guess my question to the room is, number one, do you agree generally with that? You know, critics are objective, audiences subjective, critics judge the art. And I always talk about movies as an art form. Audience judge the time they spent. And I've always said that neither one is right or wrong. And I don't think these comments are saying either one is right or wrong.
Yeah.
Which I respect that. I think these are great comments and good. They're worded better than I could ever word them. But my question for the room is, do you agree? And I guess which camp do you typically fall into? And why or why not did you fall into one of those camps for this particular movie?
I'm going to kick off, since we both agree on this film at least. It's weird that I am typically with the audience. I strongly agree with that. I think I've always agreed with that since I was really little. But I also have an outrageous love for movies, and I go to the movies if it's a stupid movie or a fun movie, an action movie, a comedy, whatever. Like if I'm with friends or growing up, like I'm going to go because I want to be entertained. Give me some type of entertainment value out of it. And you can be critical of a film, especially this one. I mean, there's a lot of things you can be critical about, but there's also a lot of just insane comedy in this that you can just laugh out loud and have a great time. So it's hard to...
Yeah, because who doesn't want to laugh?
Yeah, nobody's not going to want to laugh.
Laughing is one of the best parts about being alive.
Yeah. So I think one of the funniest movies that we recently were talking about was True Lies, and how we all, or at least most of us, fucking love that film.
Most of us
fucking love that film.
For the record, I love it. Nick here.
Yeah.
Loves it.
Nick loves it. Gris loves it.
Gris
Brian
loves it.
it.
Brian loves it.
There's
Yeah.
another person I didn't
I don't
mention.
know I don't know who you're talking about.
But
It's
it's one of those films where like it has so much entertainment value to me, and it has so much like charm and love, and like I can't be critical of it. It's just one of those weird things. So I can see why people have that love and appreciation for True Lies like I do to this film. So I can appreciate it and I can love it, and I can still give this a 39. So
Yeah, well said. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think the way the Reddit comment put that was not only very accurate, but pretty eloquent.
Yeah.
I really agree with that exactly. I think I tend to side more audience, it seems like, right? I generally am more appreciative of the entertainment value the movie gives me versus the artistic merit that the movie has. Although I very much value that too. It's just I rank the entertainment much higher, as illustrated by this review or this rating for me, for sure.
Yeah, and I'll clarify. I think both of you have said that you tend to side with the audience, but from my experience at least, it's not because you first saw the audience rating and then watched the movie. It's that you watched the movie and you assigned value to it on your own, and then that ended up jiving with the audience. And retrospectively, you've gone back and said, "Oh, it looks like interestingly, I tend to side with the audience." So, I just want to clarify that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that this movie is a great example, much like Half Baked, of a movie. Although Half Baked is the superior movie, but very similarly, the enjoyment level for me just doesn't a great rating make. And I don't know. I just
Yoda over there.
I know, right? I appreciated the infographic here. So yeah, thanks for sending that, Nick.
No problem.
Thanks for
Thanks
giving me
including
fuel,
me in your corner,
because I had nothing else for Brian's corner this week. Nothing. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Now it's time. Did you guys see how hot I was to get onto the Hot Pocket tonight?
yeah.
My goodness.
Here,
My goodness.
Brian's corner was
I'm
nice
going to
and
pass these
short.
Hot Pockets around because I already ate one while you guys were talking.
I don't know if I can Hot
I
Pocket
ate one
while
already.
I Hot Pocket.
I haven't had
You know
one
what I'm
since
saying?
1996.
The good thing is they stay warm inside about as long
ate
as
the
a
whole thing.
uranium rod.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, those will be in like 2027.
Yeah,
those
they
will
have
still
a
be piping.
half-life of 100 years.
Yeah, when I
yeah,
picked
no
the plate up, I burned the fuck out of my finger. So go ahead and pass those around, guys.
Oven Baked Hot Pockets, sponsored by. What do we got tonight, guys? It's the 4 cheese, right?
4 cheese pizza.
4 cheese pizza.
Parmesan, reduced fat cheddar, provolone, and mozzarella cheese.
And of course, the blended straight bourbon whiskey, Old Elk.
Because
Classic.
what goes better with a Hot Pocket,
Yeah.
with a 4 cheese Hot Pocket, than the blended straight Old Elk bourbon whiskey?
Does it?
With a side of Pacifico.
Gris,
Clara.
you're the only one so far who's eaten a Hot Pocket. Does it go well
I know,
with
does it work? Is
Does
it a
it
good
pair
pair?
well?
It pairs perfectly.
Oh, yes. That's
If
the right
there's-
answer.
But here's the other thing. Is there something that Old Elk doesn't pair perfectly with? I don't think so. Maybe like a carrot?
Well, it paired really well with Jepson whatever because it was so much better than that.
Yeah. It was like a chaser. Yeah,
What
which we
doesn't-
never want to use
Malort.
Old Elk as a
It's
chaser.
Malort.
Hey, I got one for you. You know what Old Elk doesn't pair well with? Fucking ice cubes. Drink that shit neat and don't water that shit down because that shit's damn good. Oh, we weren't going to cuss when we...
No,
Let's go back and delete.
Okay, this is a new... No, an original segment. The original segment. The OG. This is the
segment
OG.
existed as like a force of nature before we even ever assembled as a podcast.
This segment existed before time.
Before time. Immemorial.
Yeah, absolutely. Before the Big Bang.
Yeah.
This segment existed. And it's been known by different names over the years. I mean, I think in the early days, I believe it was called Rapid Fire, if I recall. It was Rapid Fire, right? Is that right, Gris?
Yeah, that's back when we were not very creative with the naming of our segments. And Rapid
we've
Fire.
Been retooling and working on it.
We're working on it. So we got where we are.
That's back when we thought, let's name a segment what it is. Now we're like, fuck that.
Well, yeah, we are. And we've had other names. Gris, give me another one.
Crossfire.
You'll get caught up in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Medium burn.
We've also done
slow burn.
Medium burn. Lots of burning.
Slow burn.
No.
That's right. We burn fast. We burn slow. We burn medium. But
remember when it was slow burn?
I do. And those are good times. Those
that was
were
a good
days.
like 8 months.
That was kind of like, I'd like to think of that as like the silver age.
Yeah, that was like really good.
Almost like summer camp.
Yeah.
But now we finally hit our stride.
Now we're getting to the golden age.
With Hot Pocket.
We have too many listeners
now. We're the Hot Pocket. That's right.
Baby.
You've made it to Hot Pocket, and we're glad you're here. Gosh, let me get my Hot Pocket journal. And we'll get
Gurnal.
My Hot Pocket. These
Gurnal.
are my
Ben,
thoughts as I eat Hot Pockets each day.
Good one.
Good
and guys, I like to start from the top, as you know. And I want to talk about the opening of this film because I love the opening of this film.
I actually
thought
did
it
too.
was awesome.
I
thought
did too.
it was, the butt shaking, the music, the kissing, the smoking.
It only went downhill from there.
And the Jefferson Starship, June.
Yeah.
What a banging track.
I'm telling you, man,
rocking.
It started with a banger at an awesome campfire with a bunch of hot people kissing. I'm like, all right, maybe I might care about kissing. Nope.
You might.
I don't remember this film being this good.
I definitely don't.
I actually love that song because of this movie.
It's a great song.
So
I love that song despite this movie.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay.
I like how we haven't even, 5 minutes of, not even getting to the first Hot Pocket.
Whoa. Ooh, Ben. We almost made an egregious error.
That's how bad this movie is.
We haven't even brought up The Matrix one
nor will it be brought up.
time.
Because there's no way I could tie this to The Matrix.
Yeah.
Because you can't tie shit
That's tough.
to diamonds.
What?
Platinum?
Okay, we'll just keep going. Okay, guys, I want to talk about the acting. The acting in this film. Gris, League of Legends can wait.
Put your fucking phone down.
Look,
dude, he's taking Instagram photos of
I took
our
a lot of
old
photos of the
paired
Hot
with our
Pocket.
Hot Pocket.
I'm going to get us a Hot Pocket sponsor. I swear to God.
Hey, Nick, I'm locked in. You do the social media over there, Gris. Me and Nick will lock in on this.
Anyway,
The acting.
I thought I just want to know because the acting in this movie I just think it's worth discussing because it was obviously bad and ridiculous, but it was meant to be bad and ridiculous. So in essence, they really did what they were trying to do, which was fine with me. What did you guys think?
No, I disagree. I think Paul Rudd was quote unquote bad on purpose, and he did a great job overacting, throwing the fit, way going over the top on the making out. All the things he did, bad acting, yes. But when you look at all the other characters, this main guy, Coop, Coop was grating, and he was arguably maybe one of the main characters. The cook, I cut him out of the movie. What is he talking about? Everything he talks about is so sus.
Good save,
great save.
And just the way he was so freaky with everything, and it's just oh my gosh, I can't even look at the screen right now. And there were so many other people that were just terrible acting over, Molly Shannon, just crying, what a waste there. Amy Poehler, I'm not even a big Amy Poehler fan, but I can appreciate her in good roles, but she in this was just so over the top with the way she was that's not acting, just Bradley Cooper was fine. Cooper was
solid.
Was fine, but generally it was bad. Nick, bad.
It was bad. It was
not good, guys. Yeah, Paul Rudd definitely wanted out, but can you tell a majority of this movie was just shot with a minimal script of 3 pages probably?
That's
and just
fine.
Improvised?
Have you ever seen Dazed and Confused? It can be done. By a good director with a vision.
Yeah.
Not a hackneyed director who's trying to copy off, self-professed, he's trying to make a movie like Dazed and Confused. I read that. And it's oh, no wonder. You saw something that was good and you tried to recreate it as a parody and you fucked up.
You guys want to talk smooching?
That was a way too long of a pause. Hey, listener, the room is, we're all great here.
I had to go back and look up Dazed and Confused. 1993.
I said a very like mean, aggressive comment, and there was a lot of silence, and I just wanted the listener to know everything's okay.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
I had to quickly look up how much further back did Dazed and Confused come out.
Yeah,
93.
Brian, was it
8 years?
Was it bad? What was it?
Huh?
What did you say?
Oh no, I just said something like really mean, and like I said a cuss word, and then there was like a lot of. Then I blacked out again. Oh. And then there was a long pause.
I was deep into thinking about our next topic.
Oh, okay. It's not all about me. It's not all about me. That's what I've just learned.
Yeah, no, and I apologize for that. Keep going. My brain can only do one thing at a time.
Keep going.
But I was wanting to talk about smooching, Brian, because that is your area of expertise.
All right, listen.
And I want to just let me kick this off with one thought.
Okay.
I think that really kind of sets the tone.
I've got a strong thought too.
So good. We need strong thoughts about the smooching in this movie because it's a big deal. And I think that one thing that I noticed was, remember the stinky radio DJ?
Yeah. Which by the way, that's kind of realistic. There's always the kid at a camp from experience who
very,
just
very
will
smelly,
not shower.
Very
I appreciated that.
He's talking about, he's kind of introducing the talent show on his radio program. And I believe he's the one that kind of brings up the fact that like everyone is expected to be smooching after the talent show. Like if you don't end up with a smooch partner after the talent show, you're a failure in life and you're going to go home sad for the rest of the summer. So I just thought it's just even just that bit. There's so much pressure for smooching and it's just like, God, it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to deal with.
First of all, I appreciate the word smooch. I like that word. It reminds me of Calvin and Hobbes. I feel like Calvin was always talking about smooching.
That's exactly why I use that word because that's my favorite.
It's a great
Calvin
word.
and Hobbes is my favorite thing.
By the way,
but anyway,
I accidentally said who to thunk it this week, I gave myself a demerit.
Brian. So
I'm sorry. Here's my thought, guys. I did a lot of thinking. I went and sat on the beach, like George Costanza on Seinfeld, on the boardwalk where where you're really thinking and the birds are flying. I did a lot of meditating on kissing. Kissing.
We knew you would.
We're not talking about kissing.
I don't care about it. I don't care. It's fine.
Kissing.
It's fine. I don't care about kissing the same way I don't care about my plumbing. Like I'm glad it's there and I love it, but I don't care about it. Whatever. All right. Here's what kissing is, guys. To give you a sports analogy, kissing is like dribbling in basketball. Okay. There are some amazing ball handlers out there, right? And they're really exciting to watch. Think the Allen Iversons, right? Think Steph Curry. Think the ball handlers, right? Think the dribbling, right? It's great. We love it. Yeah. We love to watch it, right? But they're meaningless if they don't lead to a fucking score. All right?
That's a great analogy. I like it.
Thank you. That's kissing. And I'll tell you what, there was a lot of smooching in this movie.
So much smooching.
Not a lot of baskets made.
There was one basket made.
Well, just the one.
In that tool shed.
Yeah.
Just the one.
And it was a deep three.
And there wasn't very much smooching preamble. So
Shit.
Oh my God.
That was good timing. Producer Big coming in hot, baby.
Oh yeah. That was a 35-foot Steph Curry three. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. Just a little analogy about kissing there. It's like, come on, it's got to lead to something.
Yep.
What was your kissing rating? What was that whole thing?
I
thought you had a kissing rating.
I did. I had a IDCAK rating, and I'm really conflicted on this movie because I'm gonna say if I'm just looking at the handles, it Jason Kidd, little Stockton action, boy, I'll give it a 10. Because man, there's some hot kissing. They're going way into it. Nobody's a robot. There's some humans swapping spit in this movie. But with the dribbling analogy, I got to dock about 4 points off. So I'll go with 6.
Tie. Tie. It's good.
Okay. Gris, what are your kissing thoughts?
I can't top what Brian just spoke to.
Is this a first date?
God.
What do you care about kissing?
I don't care.
You don't have a kissing analogy like me?
I don't have it. No, I don't care about kissing.
See, it's not just me.
I don't care about kissing.
Well, I do, damn it. I'm glad we talked about it. So, let's talk a couple quotes here in this next Hot Pocket. One that really got a nice laugh out of me was when Janeane Garofalo was trying to convince David Hyde Pierce to teach the kids about space. And he was like, I said no!
That was towards the beginning, wasn't it? Yeah.
Very funny. Come on. That gave me a good belly laugh.
I think we laughed at that scene, yeah.
Pretty good. Also, that little the D&D dork. What do we think of him? He was fun. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
No.
Did he remind you of you as a
he was
child,
great.
Nick? Is that what it was?
Well, you know,
It was
kind of a dork.
forced and unrealistic.
You have cast a level 5 charm spell over me. I like it.
He had that
like
20-sided die ready to go to save the world.
All right, guys, this is going to be a real buffalo chili cheese chicken hot pocket.
Uh-oh.
That doesn't exist, but hot
Could you
pocket. If you're listening,
If you ever listen.
please work on that for us.
Buffalo chili cheese?
Yeah,
Because chili cheese
buffalo
would be...
chicken with chili
No,
cheese.
There should be a chili cheese hot pocket.
There should be chili cheese,
And there should
but-
also
sure
be a
there
buffalo
is.
wing hot pocket, but I'm not sure.
No, I want them together.
You do
This is
want them
hot
together.
pockets we're
Okay,
talking about.
fuck it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I
Load
said-
it up.
Yeah,
You
let's get them
pack the
together.
thing full.
Yeah,
What do we got?
don't fuck around with my hot pockets. I want to talk Paul Rudd.
Okay.
I want to get into Paul Rudd.
Here we go.
Here we go, guys.
I love Paul Rudd.
All right.
I don't like him.
Oh, why?
You don't like Paul Rudd.
I feel like I'm alone.
You are. You're on an island there.
Is there anyone else?
I'm trying to think
Out
if I've
there?
ever heard of anyone ever not liking Paul Rudd.
You know,
Yeah.
Nick.
April just gave a so-so on
lukewarm.
Paul Rudd. Okay.
You know, Nick.
He's
go-
okay. Here's what I think about Paul Rudd. I think
Tell
he's
me.
probably like a cool dude, probably a nice guy, probably fun to hang out with. I don't think he's funny ever at all, except in this movie. I think this movie is by far and away the
Okay,
best Paul Rudd movie.
So you think he's funny in this, though?
I think he's hilarious.
Okay, good. I
in
do
this
too.
movie.
Yeah.
Hilarious, and I don't find him funny in anything else. And I have tried. Lord knows I have tried.
You don't think he's funny in Anchorman?
Not real. I don't think Anchorman's a very funny movie. I'm sorry.
Really?
Don't think it's very funny, guys.
You know what, Nick? You can go fuck yourself.
I need,
We're learning-
I
we're
need my
learning a
Will
lot
Ferrell
today.
rated R. I need my Step Brothers. That's what I need, guys.
Oh, yeah, that's bad respect there, though.
Yeah.
Step Brothers is...
Anchorman is just kind of some. I feel like it's just kind of some basic.
I mean, it doesn't age well, that's for sure.
Yeah.
A little bit sexist. But what about I Love You Man?
I have not seen that.
Maybe check out I Love You Man, because that might be
Yeah.
my favorite Paul Rudd movie.
Okay.
Same.
All right.
Or
Well-
Ant-Man 3.
Well,
Yeah.
None
I
of
mean,
the. Just don't watch Ant-Man.
don't watch Ghostbusters Afterlife, Ant-Man. None of the new
Well,
Paul Rudd stuff.
Oh,
but
God.
The point is, I don't like Paul Rudd. I just want to get that out there. And like Paul Rudd as a person, fine. He seems to stay out of trouble. You know,
Yeah.
I got respect for the guy. But just and when I see him in a comedy, I'm like,
He's a listener of the show. He's going to see this.
Oh,
so,
shit.
yeah.
well, Paul, we love you, but we don't love your movies. Well,
Nick,
me, these guys do. These guys do. 2/3 of us do.
I love
3/4
Paul
of us
Rudd.
do.
I freaking from Clueless on. I've been all
He
in
wasn't
to Paul
clueless.
Rudd.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Nick, how much of your disdain would you put to potentially like contrarianism? Like because so many people, it's like he can do no wrong. Typically, I know for me that puts like kind of, you know, I don't know why I still love Paul Rudd, but how much of it is tied into that? Would you?
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah, I can see that. I totally. I actually, and I've said this before. Sorry, Paul Rudd. But I actually, in another world, I can see having that exact same opinion about Paul Rudd. I just,
Yeah.
for some reason, don't, but I can see it.
He genuinely, I do not think is funny. In the movies I see him in, where he's trying to be funny, I don't think he's funny except for this one.
Check out I Love You Man. It probably won't change your opinion, but, you know.
Yeah. I mean, also, this is 40 if you have kids.
Yeah.
This is 40 solid, yeah.
Yeah.
But I Love You Man.
I'd go I Love You Man
way
more.
greater.
But, yeah.
Gurnal, that was funny.
Gurnal.
Sorry.
She goes, you mean journal?
Paul Rudd is like, he's like, I'm writing my gurnal.
She's like, journal? And he's like, yeah, if you want to be fancy about it.
Hey, what you writing on?
My journal. Write my thoughts in it every day.
Oh, you mean a journal?
Yeah, whatever. Guess I'm not all smart like you.
Something like
That's
that.
Anchorman humor.
That's funny, though.
I'm telling you.
That's funny. Okay. Let's talk about Paul Rudd being funny some more, because this is the only time he's ever done it. So just tossing the child out of the van, we've covered that. Does it twice. And he does it to cover up the murder of 2 other children,
Yeah.
which is funny.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, as someone who
Not a big fan of kids.
not the biggest fan of kids, kids, I want them to like do well. Like I want kids to thrive and like be well educated.
You love them, you don't like them.
Yes, I think that's a great way to put it, Brian. So, anyways, I just found that to be just I liked that this film was willing to go like really dark. Weirdly, a couple of times actually went like really dark.
I agree. Can I say why? I hate one of my least favorite movie tropes is in a movie like The Wedding Singer, Wedding Crashers, where there's like an innocent. It's in so many movies where there's a kid and the kid's like always mean to like Will Ferrell. It's always Will Ferrell or somebody, and the kid is like the adult tries to be nice to this kid, and the kid like has a potty mouth, and he like kicks him in the shins, and he's like a little asshole. Yeah, I'm like, why is that funny? Like, I want to murder that child now. Like, that's not funny to me. So to see the opposite, it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, totally. Guys, let's talk summer camp because I know we all went. What happened?
I got engaged to my beautiful bride that sits right next to me right now.
What?
At summer camp.
At summer camp? What were you
and
guys
you rated this at 22?
Damn,
What
that's
were you guys,
brutal.
adults?
Wow.
Oh, you were
Brutal.
working.
We were counselors.
We hope you were working
This
it.
was not
Yeah, we hope you were working it. Or you're like 7. You're like, I ain't got engaged.
Like
We've been married 37
You guys
years.
were like, yeah. Well, we were 12 and 11.
This was not.
The time seemed right. It's like,
Not in the camp.
Time means
range.
everything, guys.
I have a lot of fond memories of summer camp. Let me just put it that way.
yeah, wow.
I loved summer camp. I went every
Okay.
year from probably when I was 5 to 6, maybe 7. When did I start? I went some weird Indian summer camp in Pennsylvania. It was a different podcast, but and ever since then, all the way till maybe 30 something.
How many podcasts do you have?
I'm like,
That's the I Don't Care About Kissing podcast.
yeah, I've got an I Don't Care About Kissing podcast. It's on the Critical Mass Network. But no, I feel like I'm a pro. I'm a summer camp pro.
Wow.
Wow.
So you said you've been doing that since like last year?
I stopped. I think the last time I went was like 30, probably 33. So
Damn,
maybe,
you did it for a long time.
maybe like
You were a
25
summer camp.
straight years.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Man,
Yeah.
But wow.
Dang. I
was kidding, but yeah, you
No,
really did it for a
dude,
long
I'm telling
time.
you, man. I'm telling you. That's why when I started this movie, I'm like, oh yeah,
The vibes off that first opening scene.
Yeah.
Wow.
I only had one summer camp. It was like 1 week of one summer because my mom,
One time?
God bless her, she was a stay-at-home, in-home daycare provider, so I was always home. So it was just like 1 week out of one summer to go and enjoy like the YMCA summer camp kind of thing.
You did. This was like not an overnight.
So you
thing.
never did this kind
No, it
of
was
thing?
1 week overnight. Yes,
Oh, it was
1
overnight.
week.
Okay.
It was like in town, so it was like half a mile.
So you
from
didn't
home.
have cabins?
We had like rough cabins. Yeah, they had like little stables set up, like we could all camp out and have tents and setups up.
Yeah, summer camp. Yeah, I went to summer camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a counselor at the Y for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember one day hating the kids so much that I walked home. It was like 5 miles too. It was like 5 miles and like 98 degrees. But I was nice to the children, for the record. I just didn't want to be around them. I did go to some summer camp myself as an attendee. I did like Boy Scouts or whatever, Weeblos or what was that?
I did that. Yeah.
Yeah. We did that was like a week, overnight.
It was like Cub Scouts, then Weeblos, then Boy Scouts. after that,
Yeah. So I did some of that in some of the summers and lots of different summer camps. A few overnight ones. But
mine were all one solid week overnight.
Yeah,
in far away.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And I get it because I kind of want. I like when I send my kids away.
Yeah, right. This movie had a couple of like very like just absurdly ridiculous moments, like things that were like
Yes.
kind of like tonally it was like very kind of out of
Off-putting,
whack
yeah,
a little bit.
Totally.
But at the same time I kind of really enjoyed that, and I'm going to just list one of those. It's where they go into town for a quote unquote hour. And go on like a hardcore bender.
That it goes all the way to heroin.
They all tie off,
Yeah.
and are shooting up, and like a couple of them look dead.
Good lord.
And I was just like,
A couple of them
whoa.
doing coke?
Yeah, just-
it went from weed to coke to heroin. Like it kept escalating. And I
for
wondered
an hour.
I wondered if that was a reference to one of those 4 movies I referred to earlier. And I feel like if I would have watched those movies, maybe. Like, does that scene exist? That has to be a reference to
that
something,
scene
right?
happened in my life when I was just running around in high school. And,
but sure,
but
mine too.
Yeah.
But I wondered if it was in a movie as well.
It had to have been.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about Ken Marino, who I think is very funny actually, and very thirsty in this movie. Very, very thirsty.
Who's Ken Marino?
This gentleman right
He's
here.
the guy on screen right now. He's the guy who kind of with the fro, and he's the one that's he's actually kind of not in like the middle third of the movie, because he kind of goes off and then he like comes back towards the end.
Yeah. Hey, guys, party down. Ken Marino.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's
His
very
girlfriend's kissing
a student.
funny. Man, what else we got?
Wait, that was all on Ken Marino?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Well, no one said anything. No one said anything. I didn't think there was any.
I haven't seen Party Down.
Okay, yeah, Ken Marino, guys, he's funny. What's the other thing he's in? That's not coming to me right now. Anyways,
I will say he's one of the top 3 funnier people in this movie, and I'll say those 3 people are Paul Rudd, David Hyde Pierce, Ken Marino.
Agree. But I really, really liked the Jon Benjamin talking can.
Yeah,
thought that was very funny and
the mixed
very,
vegetables.
And I like how it was like kind of foreshadowed too. But I remember the guy that Gene kept picking on, with the guy. And he's like, he picks up the can. He's like, maybe you should talk to him. And it's just like, what?
What was the whole smear mud on your ass thing? Was that a reference to a movie?
No, it was just being nasty.
Yeah, it's
That's
being
so
weird.
stupid.
Super weird, dark.
Okay,
just being weird.
Cafeteria working dude that in a summer camp.
I guess if you're gonna have a parody movie, and I finally I'm like, I get the joke. Oh, it's a parody, and then you put super random things in it. I'm assuming all of the random things are a reference to something else.
They better be funny, whether they reference something else or not.
The fact that none of us know if any of these things are references just speaks to the tonal mess that this movie is.
Were we the audience for this? We're all about 40.
Clearly, I don't think I was.
I guess we weren't the audience
because
for this.
I was born in '82, which is like when all these movies had come out around then. You just looked at me like I was an alien.
You're 5 years older than me? Damn.
And I take that as a compliment because it meant that you didn't think I was that old, right?
You were not that old. No, you're not.
All right, I'll
for
take
sure.
that.
I also really like Gene's be proud of who you are speech when he starts humping the fridge at the end.
Yeah, with all the kids in the background, just hearing them on. Can you imagine being a child actor as he's humping the fridge?
That part took me. Ben, are you talking about? Are we going to look at the split screen, split focal length? Okay, Ben, I'm glad you interrupted.
Oh, it was on my list. It was on my list.
There's the 20-sided die and the Dungeon Master kid. He holds up the die, and they used.
It's a split diopter.
So I'm not so sure about that. So you're saying it's one of the lenses that actually?
No, it's not a lens. It's a filter that you put on the lens, where it's half focal, half.
Sure. So in essence, it's in camera.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought that looked stitched together. So I'd be curious. So folks, we're talking about whenever in a movie you see the focus of something in the foreground and far in the background equal in the same scene. And typically it's one half of the movie shows here's a great example, The Matrix. Oh, fuck, we did it! The Matrix.
I like it. Yes.
No, not that one. The Matrix. There's a great scene in the very beginning of the movie where it shows Trinity, and it's showing her face on, and she's on one half of the screen real close up, and they're like, put your hands behind your head, and she does this, shows her face, and then it shows the cops way in the background, equal focal length. And at the time, I didn't know that was a thing, and it really hit home, and now I know what it is. And so that same type of scene they did here in this movie where the dorky kid holds up the die, and the 20-sided die is in focus on one half of the screen, he's in focus on the other half, but the way that it melds in the middle, I felt almost like it was stitched together from in post.
So the reason why I don't think it is stitched is because they don't have that kind of budget. And also, they are just trying to film this in camera as much as possible. And so they're not focused on we're going to do this in post.
Yeah.
So the
it
reason
just looks so blur, it's
blurry. So
it
the
looks
reason
insane. It looks weird.
Maybe it just wasn't a very well done diopter.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I can see
bad
that.
split diopter is very blurry right in the middle, and you'll notice it
because that was very blurry in the middle.
Yeah.
Let's just back up a second and say I appreciated that shot, and I remember when that shot came on, I was like, oh shit, there's a good shot in this movie.
It was on my list, and I'm glad we talked about it. It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that was pretty juicy, pretty deep Hot Pocket.
Oh shit, what segment are we in?
Hot Pocket.
Thank you, Ben.
Have a beer.
All right.
Dude,
guys are in the danger zone right
good
now.
lord, that beer almost crashed on our podcast board, and we'd lose everything.
The profanity in this movie, it's so random. It's just like all kind of over the place. And I'll give one example of that. Sorry, Grandma, but when David Hyde Pierce, when he checks the machine in front of the children, he's like, "Fuck my cock." It's like,
my favorite quote of the whole film.
It's just funny because you just don't see it coming. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, especially from that character. And the movie does that a few times. Like, it just kind of comes out with this like ridiculously, over the top profanity at kind of strange times. And I guess that kind of does it for me. I just think that's funny.
I feel like those outbursts are the only reason this movie's rated R.
Yeah.
And I do not respect a movie that's only rated R because it puts language in it.
Well, the sex scene.
Minus the sex scene in the tool shed.
Yeah,
that was pretty hot and heavy.
Cabin fever scene.
For a long time. That was a long scene.
You're right. Yeah, that was the one scene I feel. You're right.
Yeah.
That scene and the language.
Seth Meyers interviewed Bradley Cooper about this, and he was like, I think it's hilarious that the entire movie is satire except for the sex scene, which we treated with the utmost respect.
Again,
and made it
speaks to the tonal
something.
mess of the movie.
My favorite part was they're just covered in sweat, but they do the cut to their legs, and their legs are just in weird, awkward positions, but they have the soccer ball, and they're like playing soccer in the middle of
They got socks on.
Yeah.
Climax of the film, Coop walking in to It's Over by Loverboy. A big fan of that song and scene. I, once again, kind of love that song because of that scene. And I love that the first thing he does is he walks over to Katie after all this drama. And it's not that funny, but for some reason it was just really funny to me when he's just like, I came here to tell you I'm leaving. I just was like, it was just funny because it's not what I expected him to say.
Yeah.
And I just really like him Coop acting cool. I just found very, very
I agree.
funny.
Maybe the main character of the movie. Barely. If there's a main character, it's probably Coop.
I'd say it was
I was going to
him,
ask that question actually.
Yeah.
Who
I think
is the
it was-
main character?
I think
in
it
this
was
movie?
Coop.
It's probably him. Maybe barely. It's him.
I was thinking it's Janeane Garofalo.
She's up there. It's one of the two of them.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I actually enjoyed every second on screen when he was the cool dude.
Yeah.
He was so cool. I was like, all right,
Really
this is
funny.
cool. This is good.
So they don't mention this.
Yeah, they don't explain
But-
it at all.
That's Coop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Coop is also the.
So this confused
right.
April and I when we watched it. So this guy, he's fairly enjoyable. I liked him.
He's
up
the
here.
It was
host.
funny.
The
He's
host of the talent
host
show.
of the talent show, and he's doing this. He's very
Old
doing
man
this
makeup,
very
everything.
old man- and it's like clearly that's who that is. And I just think, oh, we thought, oh, he dressed up and he's being funny for this talent show, and then he walks in, and so it's like, wait, what?
Did you guys notice that as soon as that happened, the goofy, dressed up old man is the old Coop from the film, and then the cool Coop came in, and that's who had the final speech. Did you guys catch that at all? Like, he's the one that made that last little moment at the end of the film. I thought it was weird. I was like, why did they just split the character in half? It seems
I know.
odd.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I
they
remember
did.
what you're saying now. Yes. Yeah. It didn't
There
make
he
any
is.
sense. Didn't make any sense.
Yeah. See, and
He's got the
cool
Forrest Gump Nikes.
the
What a
Cortezes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anyway,
I
Nick,
love how he wrote this movie too. He just made himself just the cool guy. in the
I
movie.
liked it.
Who gets the girl?
I like it. Nick. I'm on board with cool Coop.
It's walk.
Man, okay, so toward the end of the film, almost sort of you could even call it sort of the epilogue, where everyone's, kind of the very end, everyone's leaving, and Gene, right? He's come full circle. He's cool now. He's comfortable with himself. And hot damn if that wasn't one hell of a GTO that man had. Did you guys see that GTO? It was like that dark green. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
That was a beautiful,
beautiful. I want
car.
a muscle car.
Yeah.
I want one.
I'm a sucker for old muscle cars.
Oh man.
Yeah, that GTO was glorious. Anyway, just had to give it a shout out. Another quick hot pocket. We're almost done hot pocketing here, unless you guys have other deeper hot pockets. Katie, I think Katie's the villain. I think she's the antagonist. What do you guys think?
Who's Katie again?
Katie's the hot one.
Yeah, the hot one.
He just handed a gift
I mean,
to.
she's pretty toxic. You gotta.
Yeah.
She's pretty awful.
She's playing everyone.
She's playing everyone. She's incredibly selfish. And she is kind of the antagonist to our hero.
Okay, villain's a strong word. I think that she's a coming of age character. And she's very real and authentic. So just to make sure I'm thinking of the right person, Katie is the person who they just showed was standing next to Paul Rudd, and Coop came over.
Paul Rudd's girlfriend.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
So I think she's an interesting character because she sort of says it how it is when you are that age. And the speech at the end, she literally says it through dialogue. She says, I know you're great. I love you. You're great. But the other guy's hot. And I just want to have sex or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about at this point in time. It's not about who's going to be the long-term, stable person. It's about who you got the hots for. And it's like, that's very realistic. Again, coming from a summer camp background, or we've all been young. You don't have to be a summer camp person. I don't know. I think she embodied that. And I don't want to put her as the villain because I think she's just being authentic.
That's fair. And I want to be clear that I didn't dislike her. I thought she was a good character.
But I also don't think that she was being malicious. I think she was
she was just being selfish.
Well,
or naive,
which is
or
fine,
dumb,
for that age and that situation.
I guess selfish
expected.
is one way to put it, but I would just put it more like she's just being authentic.
Well, she really played with the heart of a good man.
Yeah.
She did.
Yep.
Now that I see Coop in the cutoff T-shirt, I get the red thought American Summer.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Ben.
Wow. It took that long.
No, that's okay. I'm glad it came around, though, because, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, and just the end. The end of this movie was weird. I should have kind of thrown this and flipped the script. Just
the
Coop,
Skylab stuff?
Well, no, I was at the very, very end where
okay.
like Coop and Garofalo are just kind of like walking off arm in arm, and she's like, "How are you doing?" And he's like, "Good."
Oh yeah, it just kind of ended.
And it's like right when Katie, kind of dumps him again, and it's just kind of this weird, like it's almost like they didn't like know how to end it, so they were just like, fuck.
How can we make this more awkward?
Yeah, it was just it was admittedly a very bad ending that didn't make a lot of sense.
They probably thought to themselves, if anyone's not on board by now,
right?
They already turned it off, so fuck it.
Yeah, if you're still here, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
it's just like whatever.
It's very much like our podcast.
Yeah, basically, yeah. If you made it this far, wow, you're pretty cool. Okay, guys, I have exhausted Hot Pockets. Guys, have any other Hot Pockets to toss into the oven?
No, I did not have a lot of thoughts about this movie. It did not drum up a lot of conversation for me.
Yeah,
it really
didn't.
Fair.
Gris, did you have any final Hot Pockets for the group?
No, I just took one more bite of Hot Pocket, like an actual Hot Pocket, and I feel perfectly full now. So thank you for that.
And you feel good too, right?
Oh, I feel great. I feel really good.
Hot Pocket.
And that's the
branding.
4 cheese pizza. Is that right?
4 cheese pizza.
And I want to just point out, I don't see not even a drop of grease on that plate. I mean, it looks
when you cook them in the oven the way they're meant to be cooked. I think
it looks flaky.
I think
it looks
things work
crisp. I mean, it looks succulent. I would say, Gris, what would you say?
I'm eating one right now. I mean, it's like a very, very large pizza roll. That's
right.
But, right. Which is, I mean, is there anything better?
That's what it is. I mean,
that's basically what we're shooting for. So, Okay. So let's do some closing thoughts on this fine film. And I'm going to start. This movie made me laugh out loud a dozen times. So that's going to get you to 50 probably alone. And there were just some other, nostalgia added another couple points. There are just some things that are sort of endearing to this movie or about this movie to me. And I also just the fact that there are just so many famous people in this movie, it just makes it kind of more interesting too. And especially people that, got more famous later. So anyways, this is obviously I said it earlier. It's a shitty movie. It's a shitty movie. It's not particularly well written. It does, however, what I think it sets out to accomplish. And I ultimately enjoyed it. And this one was high on the enjoyment scale, low on the critical scale. And we all know that I lean more enjoyment. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
That's a good recap. And for Gris here, I think it's an odd one because I'm usually with the audience, but I struggled through this film a lot. But it is outrageously funny, so I can understand why people have so much love for it and they can have enjoyment with it. There are a few laugh out loud moments, and like I think with our reviews earlier, Brian, you mentioned like, would you recommend this, or would you say this is a good film for somebody to go and watch, or is it a must-have watch? I don't think it's a must-have, but you wouldn't be disappointed that you went and saw this film. I don't think, at least not in my
would
opinion.
be.
You maybe, but I still hold strong on that 39 though, personally.
Yeah, your 39 is right at the top end of my bad band.
Yeah.
Because 40 to 60, I'd say is enjoyable.
Okay.
60 to 80 is good, and 80 to 100 is recommend. But this is in my bad. This is 20 to 40 bad. And it's not funny. There are pockets of funniness here to me. But overall, I was not laughing throughout most of the movie. And it's funny because the laughs, it's not like Office Space, where like everything's always slightly funny, and then there's like peaks of hilarity. It's like you're always in this like, you've got this smile on your face, right? This movie's like boring, and then, oh, that was hilarious for like 5 seconds, and then like nothing. It was very, very much peaked and valleyed. But I'll say there's too many subplots. Nothing tied them together. It needed a main character, didn't have one. The tone and directing was super weird to me. It took me out of it. And I actually wrote down, this movie feels like what would happen if I made a movie. Because I don't know how to make a movie. And I feel like I would be like, oh, all these ideas are funny, and these characters are funny, and this setting's funny, and then I would make it, and I would go, oh, I'm a shitty director because the sum is less than the final thing is less than the sum of its parts or whatever. And I think, I don't know, that's like an amateur director.
It felt like a sketch
was
comic.
a very young, inexperienced dude.
Yeah,
I think
his
shows.
experience comes from sketch comedy, and I think that showed. It felt like a bunch of sketch comedies back to back to back.
And
to
I
back
will
to back.
absolutely deduct a lot of points from the movie for that, and I will not give any grace for that.
There's a movie currently out that I feel like fits along with that. It's Unfrosted. Like, it feels like there's a lot of funny people in it, and there's a lot of funny intentions, but it just never made it too funny.
I will absolutely group Unfrosted with this. Thank you, Ben. Great example. Unfrosted to me is like a funnier version of this movie. It did not have a very good it actually had a good sort of, I don't know, thought, sort of a good heart to it, but it just was not executed well, was not directed by a good director. Had a lot of funny scenes in it, way more funny scenes than this movie had, but good call out there. Yeah. And then the cook guy probably deducted 50 points. I mean,
No.
50 points?
He was terrible, guys. He
Brian.
was grading. I could not look at the screen when he was on for most of the time.
What about the talking can of mixed vegetables?
I hated the talking can. I hated the cook. No. Take him fucking out of the movie. It was absolutely horrendous. I was like, all right, let's shock everyone who's watching this. If anyone hasn't laughed yet, let's see if we can hook them with a shock thing. It's like, nope, you just detracted more from the movie. So he was
I wonder how
way
many movies
too
we
silly.
could get a higher rating out of Brian if we had a Brian's cut.
Oh my God. If I cut him out of this movie, I guarantee you I would have liked the movie more. And then I said the movie feels like a sitcom, and that my last thought was I was really hoping for 25 minutes of credits at the end of the movie every time I kept checking the timestamp. Unfortunately, there was only 4 minutes. Almost fucked this movie, but not quite.
Well, this has been a bit of a critical mess, you could say, potentially.
Wow. It's almost like we do this.
It's what we do. It's what we do, Ben. If you made it this far, thank you. Thank you so much, dear listener. We're going to do another episode. We always threaten to do more episodes. We're going to do it. And this next one, guys, I'm pumped. I'm excited.
Here we go, baby.
It's a summer blockbuster. It's all about a hot summer day in New York, and it's called Die Hard 3.
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Die Hard with a vengeance.
What a palate
son.
cleanser.
Ooh, I'm so hyped right now.
So, as you can tell, I'm probably going to give this movie like a 30. But no, this movie is going to be fun. I'm really excited to talk about this one. And honestly, I'm really surprised this one is even qualifies for our show.
I'm excited because we are talking about a movie in a franchise that is part of one of our favorite movies of all time.
Yeah,
and I think that's amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah, so we're going to do it on the next one.
Well, we need to plug socials first.
Guys, we're on social media.
Yeah,
Nick, did you know we're on social media?
Yeah,
Brian?
I tried to do this earlier, and it all just fell apart. So, tell us about the socials.
Gris, I downloaded TikTok the other day.
What?
I can't figure out how to log into it, but it's on my phone.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to log into.
There's like a red like a red notification. Like I've got a number 2 on the top corner.
Got a couple followers in there.
It's like I'm supposed to watch 2 things. I don't know.
Dang.
Why did you do that?
All right. Hey, TikTok's great.
One of my dear friends sent me a thing, and I only could watch it by downloading TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok's great.
It's great. It's really good.
Are we on TikTok?
We are on a lot of social medias. We will
TikTok
probably get heavier with it as we are currently building a little set for YouTube here soon. So just a little teaser for all of our diehard listeners that got this far. But we are only on Instagram at the moment at Critical Mess Crew. So go follow us.
There it is.
Leave us a review and a rating. I can't wait to read the next one.
Yeah, please, somebody.
We will. All it takes is one.
Yeah.
We will change our entire format for you if you write one word in a review.
Yeah, just check us out at http://www.instagram.com
/Critical Mess Crew.
/Critical Mess Crew. And that's all we got, guys. So we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Later.